Well, welcome to another episode of Rimshots with Sean right here in the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk and Mapex Drums. We're both playing with our hair. I got to get it just right for the camera angle. We're here on a Sunday. These gentlemen, it's supper time for them. It's lunchtime for me. I have the Barcode Bandits. I have Neil. I have Mark. I have Ryan. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it, Sean.
Well, I thank you for being here. We obviously had a little bit of a hiccup last time. It was totally on my end, so glad that I found out. Mark, I'll start with you. So the last time we chatted, you were giving us a little bit of insight as to who you guys are and what you're all about. So just recap that for us, please.
Yeah, man. So the Barcode Bandits, we've been around for 13 years. We're a South African rock punk alternative band. We started off as an acoustic act, but we've evolved our sound over the years just to fit into the scene, because we a very energetic acoustic band back then, and then we said, okay, let's kick it into overdrive, and we popped into those fully electrics, sort of went a bit heavier, and the sound evolved over the years. So that's us in a nutshell. Been on the scene and rocking the South African scene quite hard, and just seeing where we can keep on plugging in, and radio stations and music festivals and stuff, but having a party at the same time.
Outstanding, and quite possibly award for best hair today, Ryan. You got that going on, man. I love it. Just tell us who does what in the Barcode Bandits. Ryan. I said just Ryan.
Ryan.
All right. So I do vocals and guitar. So we are only a three-piece.
Yep.
So that's my jobby.
And I guess kind of in the vein of the punk stuff for years has been a trio. Some people infuse a infamous, fourth in there or whatever. But Neil, I guess I'll throw it over to you. You guys are just straight up trio, full out. That's how you do it.
Yep, that's how we do it. We I play the bass, and then we the only embellishments we actually put on it is during final mixing, where we might add some keys or something, but it's purely a three-piece.
Right on. And I personally am not against that on my socials. To me, it's a tired argument. Using tracks. I mean, it's silly, right? I mean, in this day and age, you have technology. Why not use it? Totally replacing a band, or that AI thing that happened the last couple of weeks ago with that band, that's one thing. But for enhancements, it's not so bad, right?
Yep.
No, sure.
It definitely, as you say, it enhances things, and if you got the technology, use it.
Well, as a drummer, because I'm a drummer, I love playing to a click track. I practice to a click track. I do tracks for people on a click track. I find when you're playing with tracks, sometimes there's a vibe, there's a groove, and it's a skill set. Mark, I'll throw it over to you. People don't realize, mostly for the drummer, because not to give the guitar players a hard time, but in our band, my guitar player will be like, I don't need to click, I'll play to the drums. Will you? You know what I mean?
No, for me, absolutely. I mean, when I started out listening to getting into studio and playing on a click track, it was an absolute nightmare for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to playing to a click track, because I would play to the guitarist sound, his speed, and I would play to his vocal. I would listen what's happening on the bass. So click track for me was what I'm playing on time, and then Ryan would go, "No, guy, that's the time. Boom, 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 boom," and I'm like, "But I'm playing boom, 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 boom." And he's like, "No, let's slow it down. That's where we're at." And I'm like, "But that's not the way we do it live." So for me to get into that realm of click track and studio was an absolute evolution over 13 years. Day one, if we did Heavens versus Heavens now, completely different, because I learned how to play to a click track over the years. And I think every drummer, for him, it's like, it's an absolute task to play to a click track until you get used to it. Okay, I'm hearing that tick, 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 or whatever the click is for the day. Every time there's a different click, but you get used to it. And I'm like, okay, but I still like watching through the screen, to see Ryan on the guitar, and he's keeping the beat, and he's singing with me, although I'm hearing everything in ear. Yeah. That's even the better click track for me, is seeing Ryan or Neil through the screen in studio. And although I'm hearing the click track, I like seeing them because I'm a live drummer. I give it my all, and I want that track to sound live in studio. So that's for me. It's always been a challenge. But I mean, Ryan's taught me over the years how to play to a click track.
Well, that's great. And I'd be missing out if I didn't give a shout out to our man Duzzy, because Duzzy set this up. He had my girlfriend on his podcast a couple weeks ago, and he said, I've got an act that I'd love for you to talk to, and it was you guys. And so thank you, Duzzy. I'd hate to do this, but I do, just because when I'm trying to give my audience a sense of who an act is, what they might be like. So Ryan, a comparable, if you were to tell me who the Barcode Bandits sounded like, or they were in the mold of, who might you guys be like?
So I think it goes into the underground punk scene. It's quite difficult because I think we do all bring our own. I'm very much into the punk, alternative punk rock, and then Mark's definitely more into the old school, and Neil much more into like the gothic, underground punk back. And I really think there's a little bit of everything. But I think in my head, if I had to put a name out there, it'll probably be close to like the Sum 41 aspect.
So you'll love this then. So my guitar player and my girlfriend's writing partner, his name's Mark Horton. Mark Horton used to road manage Sum 41. He did it for a number of years.
Wow.
And he did it when Derek was married to Avril Lavigne. And he whether you guys care or not, he says they're all super nice guys and they were great to work with. So there you go. A little bit of trivia that I'll throw at you. So Neil, if Brian says you're kind of into the gothic stuff, what would that be? I mean, I'm looking at you, and obviously I'm one that kind of gets judged by a look as anybody. I would have maybe got that, but who might be some of the bands that you might be of choice?
Well, yeah, thanks. My direct influences, if you want to put it directly, especially speaking about as you say, the gothic stuff. I was a goth in the 80s and 90s, and that's now giving away my age. But then they were. I mean, it was always the things like the Mission and the Cure and that sort of thing back then. But now my go-to alternative act is actually Placebo.
Well, there you go. Well, and you know what? Don't worry about giving away your age. Just for Men, Dark Brown. Another little tip for you there.
I'm greyer than you, mate.
Well, you know what? If I let this go, it'd be pretty gray. But I grew up Catholic in vain, so let's just leave it at that. So I asked you guys this last time. Maybe I'll start with you again, Ryan. Your scene. I mean, I'm talking to Duzzy, and I'm like, South Africa. Obviously knew of different sorts of bands that came from there. But your scene, is it vibrant? Is it tough? How is it?
I'll be honest with you. It's getting tougher. It's really hard for bands to be self-efficient in gear and to be able to be sound engineers and our realms and the places that are allowing for live music are getting smaller and smaller, and like even pubs aren't even interested in doing this anymore. So it really is becoming harder for us. And the real answer that sits in front of us is to say we've got to become that all-in-one show. We're going to have to start providing the gear. I do have a sound engineering background. So yeah, to get to the places, I always take the Beatles mentality. They didn't go to play where the people went. The people came to where they were playing. And we've got to go to that moment where now you've got to go, well, the people are going to be there. Let's go set up shop and go and perform. So that's really where it's going. So it's tough at times. When we were getting to this conversation last time, it was almost like, hang on, guys, let's put the brakes on. You've got to understand. And this is just in the matter of the last 8 years. It's completely decreased drastically.
One of the things, so my podcast, I'm a COVID project. There was never any bucket list that I know of that I put on that I want to be a podcast host. Doesn't exist. Just kind of happened. And I remember everybody kind of, we had a good thing with music, and if it ever comes back, I'll never take it for granted again. and it was like that to a point, and I feel now it's maybe being taken for granted a little bit. People will go, "Oh, the Barcode Bandits, I love those guys. I'll catch them the next time." Maybe there is no next time, right? There's no sense of urgency. Like people, we feel it because trying to book gigs and all that stuff. But people, they just think that this music is going to be around all the time. Mark, I'd love to get your reaction to that statement.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, like Ryan always makes that comment about, if the one thing we leave as a legacy as a band or as a South African underground band is maybe over 10 or 20 years, at least because we've stuck around for 13 years, somebody would say, "Hey, you remember the Barcode Bandits? We went to a show," or I listened to a song of them on the radio, and wow, I still like this and this and this. So, for, like you say, I mean, from South Africa, we've had these big exports. I mean, we've got the Seethers that's playing overseas, and they've been phenomenal overseas. I mean, the guys that were born here, like the Congos, and so from South Africa, we've got so much talent that's out there. People don't necessarily know they're South African based, or they're this, or actors and this and that and that. So our scene, the talent is ridiculous in South Africa. I mean, there's so many drummers that I look up to just on our South African scene. I'm like, wow, why is that dude not in a big international band playing big festivals like not Ramfest, like Ozfest or whatever's happening overseas? I mean, the talent is ridiculous here. The guitarist, the vocalist, female, male. So for us, like I say, we've stuck it around for 13 years, and it's up and down. Some days we want to quit. I want to quit, and oh no, now I'm on a high, and I'm ready to punch it again and just work. But it is, unfortunately, the scene is in South Africa is very much a clique. And because we love a certain sound of music, it's so difficult to break through that barrier. I think overseas, you guys got the same problem. Is there's so much bands that want to play a certain genre, and they're very, very fucking good in their genre, and they excel in that genre. But because we are so not, I wouldn't say nostalgic about a Nirvana or a Guns N' Roses or a this or a that. It's just we looked up to these bands. I mean, I'm 45 years old, and I grew up to the Deep Purples and the AC/DCs and the Creedence Clearwater Revivals, and there's 10,000 bands I can say that I look up to and still want to play with and be part of. But for us as a band, it's just making music, and we feel our sound has something, and it's not being recognized in the South African scene. So that's super frustrating. But again, now we're on your podcast on a Canada platform, that breaks another barrier for us. So it's cool that's the thing with technology. We can be everywhere, but it's to get plugged into these little things and talk to you and be recognized. And you appreciate the music, and we go and check out your stuff. And that's us as musos. We always want to support another muso in the scene, because we know how hard it is. And yes, it's ridiculous. The scene is challenging, but we've got amazing exports and amazing talent that should be playing the big festivals.
Well, and I mean, it's harder and harder for the indie guy, girl, every day to make a go at it. That's just the facts of life. But I mean, to your point, if you don't quit, things can happen. And one of the things that drives me nuts more than anything else is you'll get somebody that's, it just happened to me. Coldplay was in Toronto last week. And there's my friend, oh, Coldplay and all the video. And then she sends me a text. Oh, I hear you're playing Rock the Harbor. It's a festival we're doing. Can you get me in? Okay, so you want to go see Coldplay, but you want me to go? No. You know what I mean? That's the mentality, unfortunately, of people. And that's just human nature. So Neil, what do you guys have coming up in terms of shows and what have you? I know last time we talked, you guys said you weren't really a road band just because of life and whatnot, but what do you have coming up?
Well, right now the calendar is quite clear. We've been working. We've been concentrating a lot on the recording. We should have a couple more singles to be launched anytime soon, as soon as Ryan pulls finger and gets it done, because he's our he's our sound guy.
Yeah.
And apart from that, everything's relatively clear. But there are quite a few shows which are coming up within the next few months, which we should be part of.
Fantastic. And Ryan, are you guys with a label?
No. We self-labeled.
Yeah, and I mean, what is it, the DIY? It seems to be the way to go. Although everybody's an expert because they can Google something on the internet and find out how to do it. I want to quickly throw this at you. I had a post this morning in my socials, and I'm a big believer in when things happen 3 times, it's a thing. So I had 3 things that happened that were all similar. I had a record company call about a country artist and wanted my opinion. I had a landlord that called about a potential tenant and wanted me to do a reference. And I had another guy who was a contractor that was doing some work and knew that I knew the person he was going to do the work with and wanted to know what they were like. Quickly, what do you guys think about, reputation and making sure that you're, keeping your reputation clean? Neil, I'll start with you.
Why does it have to come to the dirtiest member of the band? Anyway, yeah, no. We generally behave ourselves all the time. We don't sort of go and trash things or trash talk other bands and that.
Yeah.
I feel that as a band we're relatively well respected within the small community that we have here in South Africa, in Johannesburg specifically.
Fair statement. Ryan, I'll put it to you.
I think one thing that's become a battle for me to understand is watching the newer bands come out and being a lot more edgy and maybe a little more loose-lipped on social media. So like we would like get a bunch of shows, a bunch of people, and they'll be dropping F-bombs and stuff in the advertising, and it just grinds me. And it's like, where's the level of me that's kept it professional? In these 13 years, I've also been running a business, and I look at the two very similar. They're very different worlds, but they still, at the end of the day, when you've got a name and a brand, it's a product and it's a business. So yeah, I find it very difficult to see that the new age now does things quite differently, and I just can't bring myself to be or do those types of things,
I hear you, man, because if I see one more drum video of somebody pouring water on a drum set, flipping their hair back and chucking the sticks, and I mean, great, it's show, but there's a video I saw some guy spinning upside down doing a drum solo, and it's like Tommy Lee did that in that friggin' 80s, man. Like, come on, do your homework. So anyway, I get what you're saying, Ryan. I'm slowly becoming that guy that goes outside and yells at the clouds, right? Marc, I'll put that over to you.
No, dude, absolutely. I mean, like you say, for us, I think, we go out with a very big respect for the industry. For our fellow musos out there. I mean, when we play with a big band or a small band, we treat each other with absolute respect and love. I mean, the bands that we've played with over the years, the reason they call us up is because they love working with us. We fun guys, we're polite, we easy to work with. We quick on stage, 10, 15 minutes sound check, boom, we're ready to go. We pre-set up. If we say yes, we're there. Unless there's a health issue with one of the band members, we'll cancel well in advance. We really do treat this as, it is a passion project, but we do treat it as a day for everybody in the industry. And so we treat everybody with respect and love and support, because if we treat them with respect, they treat us with respect, and we get that love back. I mean, we've had the Ginger Rocks that supported us over the years. We've had Duzzy that still gets us gigs. There's so many. I mean, Warren from Plug Music. There's so many guys that's been great for us, and we always show the love back to them, and they show the love back to us. So when we push back on their buttons, the Max Saviolis, the Al Yopels from our radio industries, we push on their buttons, and they will call us up on a Sunday morning and like, hey, I've got 5 minutes, let me talk to you. And he calls me in bed, and I'm sitting having a cup of coffee, and I'm jumping onto a radio interview just because I quickly WhatsApped and said, hey man, please play our song, and then he will just pick up the phone and call us. So we've had an immense respect in the industry as a band, I think, And a lot of the local bands, our smaller bands, and even our big bands, I mean, they would come to us and say, it's always a pleasure working with us. And for us, it's always a pleasure working with those bands. We've never been disrespected in the industry. Yes, maybe there was some name calling back in the day because people always try and step on each other. But for us, I find the journey has been fun and the journey has been respectful. So although it's tough, but we as a South African scene try and support each other. Some bands, not necessarily, because they think they just up there and they've made it and now they step on everybody's heads. But for us, we always treat it, big or small, same gig, we go in as professional as possible as we can, because one day that band will maybe say, geez, the Barcode Bandits were awesome, let's invite them to this festival.
Awesome. I get that. That's amazing. We got to get out of here, but like it or lump it, the lead singer is usually the face of the band. So I'm going to get Ryan, and I'm saying that as a drummer, Mark. So Ryan, where do I send my audience to find out more about you guys and get your music and find out what you're up to?
So you can catch us anywhere you like, basically any streaming platform, whether it be Apple Music, YouTube, Spotify, Deezers, all that jazz. Alternatively, check our social medias, TikTok, Facebook, Instagrams. We're always spurting out something. If you see merch, it doesn't matter where you live. You can order merch. We'll make sure we get it to you. And keep tabs on all the socials.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for doing this. It's been a pleasure, and I apologize for the hiccup, but we got there.
We got it.
We did.
Peace. We're back after
Thank
this.
you so much, man.
Thank you guys.
Thanks,
Back
Andy.
after this.
Having us on your platform, man, and thank you for supporting music all over the world. We really appreciate it.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Back after this.
Let's rock it.